Good evening, guys. It's quite late in the evening, and although I have a presentation tomorrow on Agile data, I'm really excited to stay late and show you the progress on ATK version 4.4. So it is in the works, and it probably will be rolled out in two big steps. The first step is a big overhaul of the backend system, which we call Agile data, and the second part, slightly later, would be an overhaul on the UI. And what I'm really excited is we're almost there. So the screen over here is actually running Agile Toolkit, a branch 4.4, and the data in here is coming through Agile data. And at this stage, the Agile data framework is already much more mature than the model implementation in ATK. So just to start, I wanted to show you what's behind this screen, right? So it's really simple screen. It's just this page over here. So I'm creating a CRUD, and the only difference in here is how I create the model. So I have this Agile data persistence defined in my app, and I create a model through that persistence, and then I use this model inside a CRUD. This is exactly same CRUD as you can actually use with the regular model, but it adopts and also works well with Agile data. Actually, it does even work better. And let me show a couple of examples. So first of all, looking over here, we have the fields, and I have filtered the fields. I'm only showing the fields which are relevant. I'm not showing some of the other fields. Looking at the model definition, so job, this is how my model is defined. I'm using namespaces. I'm using this new cool thing called class extensions, or sort of field extension classes. So really cool stuff, right? So I can extend the field, and I can say, okay, use this configuration for the field. Really nice. And then its definition it's slightly different, but it's backwards compatible. So you can actually use the same syntax. I prefer to use the new syntax. This is a recommended syntax for Agile data. If you want, you can use the old one, like this. This also works. Anyway, so yeah, date type. Closed, right? Closed is a Boolean. Now the cool thing about that is that all of these fields actually work. This is actually a subquery coming from a different table consisting of 3 different fields: name, surname, and email, and composed inside the same field. This is gorgeous. Okay, so editing is easy. Default job, right? Closed. A couple of really important things I wanted to note here. The first one is data pickers. So you're familiar with that, but now date pickers can work with date time fields as well. So as I change the date, you see the time remains the same, and I can update the time and works fine. All right, so I save the new time. It's reflected over here. Really awesome. Also notice that this field has also changed, and if I perform edit again, so change any field, save, this goes forward. Now Agile Toolkit now stores data. Agile data stores timestamps in a UTC, but it if you look how they are actually stored in memory, it's date time. So the whole thing is being optimized with the newest technologies from the PHP and best practices, but it still works in exactly the same way in the UI. Okay. And then finally, okay, so that's Agile data. Okay, let me just walk over a couple of other things in here. Yeah, the big thing we have in Agile data, we didn't have an Agile toolkit before, is support for NoSQL databases. Now it's still work in progress, still working on NoSQL databases, but there will be a lot. Its capabilities in there are huge, and it's a lot more flexible. But most importantly, it is a very good quality framework. So Agile data, if you look at the way our test code coverage, we have a bunch of test scripts. It's not just we're not just putting stuff together and shipping it, but we're actually having a test coverage. You can also look at the pull requests over here. We're just working on stuff constantly. We do through pull requests. Okay. Oh yeah, a lot of work was done in the booleans. So you can define booleans. They don't have to be yes, no. You can define whatever you want. If you want to use A and B, A for true and B for false, you can do that. And in your code, you still reference it as true and false. It's really powerful. References. But the most important part of Agile data is its documentation. So documentation is huge. We every time we add something into Agile data, we write a bunch of documentation. And you can see, so this topic, for example, this is one of the new things in Agile data. It's normalization of types. And yeah, we have strict types. So if you use one, it stores as true. When it loads, it will be actually true, not one. We have good support for date and the ability to extend that. It's all explained here. Typecasting, how you convert things. Really nice. The other thing I wanted to show you is that's the same screen as before, but we have extensions, and I have started working on this one extension, actually quite a few. So if you go over here and look in extensions, there are quite a few planned. So audit, essentially recording what's going on with the data, and then encryption, security related extensions, proxies, and so on and so on. So there are a lot, and we'll continue working on that. But let me just briefly look inside inside the audit extension, and just compare what you get out of the box. So yeah, actually allow me to show you in action. So all the operations we just did, they are actually logged to this table over here. Okay, that's our update. Remember, I was changing the profit just to show you how it would affect the updated date. Well, it did record the profit, but it didn't record the date because the date is excluded from the audit. It's by the rule, so it's how I wanted it. And here I was showing you how the date can be changed, and you see it stores data in a pretty interesting format. There is also human readable part. Yeah, so close date, changed, whatever, blah. This can be configured. And what's also interesting is that sometimes, so that record wasn't owned by me, but when I changed the name of the record, it also changed update by setting it to 2. So the logging, the access log is really cool thing. Okay, and as I keep changing that, let me change this. Okay, let's say profit has increased. And so it's a new record. And this is completely transparent. So if you look at the model, nowhere it has the inclusion of this audit log. And I even have the audit fields. Let me show you this audit fields feature. So it adds created by, deleted by. And again, it's really amazing how this is working. So adding updated by field, and I'm saying before saving, set this to date time, and use the currently logged in user, and that's it. It's really simple. Self deletes. Now, but where the magic is happening is this thing over here. So audit. I'm adding an audit controller. This is extension for audit. This is how easy to include it. Actually, so that's all base composer JSON. So I'm just including audit from over here. That's it. And it actually comes from a private repository at the moment, because we're probably going to have audit as a paid extension. So if you want to use this amazing logging module for all those things, then let us know, because we're still looking for the people to kind of VIP people to jump in and start testing it. So if you think you will need this level of audit sometime in the future, then maybe sign up now before we have our billing systems implemented. So it logs deletes. It says the record was deleted. Pretty sophisticated. So that's an update for Agile Toolkit 4.4. There is a bunch of stuff. Okay, that's Agile data. We have rewritten the SQL as well. It's not entirely rewritten from ground up. Again, you can look into that. It's open source. Everything is MAT based. We're very clear about this licensing now. No AGPL anymore. And code coverage 96. This is very stable, very powerful. And again, comes with docs. If you want, there's a full documentation here, like queries, expressions. Very extensive. Okay, and a couple of other next things we'll be working on the UI and repackaging the ADK. So what happens with your app? You can update to, so if you go ADK 4, the branch we're working on is called 4.4. Okay, if you do compare it to what's currently in develop branch, there are loads of features. Okay, so a lot of work was coming in here, and it's primarily compatibility and connecting Agile data into this. I'll publish a guide how you can use ADK 4.4. So that's what you put inside your composer file, and this pretty much comes as dependency. You don't have to worry about that. If you want to use audit, you'll have to get in touch with me. I'll set up access for you, and then a bunch of other stuff. We using if you get SQL error, it's much nicer formatted. We do have console as well. As console is actually probably as well worth mentioning. There's a sample project in here if you want to look into just Agile data. But okay, console. The console works like this. So you run a file and then you just type commands like that, load something, and it just outputs the data for you. It's very nice for debugging your backend. You see all the queries over here. It's very lovely. And expressions. Anyway, I didn't want this video to be so long, so thanks for your time and stay tuned in. Yes, follow me on Twitter, follow ATK4, GitHub, obviously we're here, give us a star, and most importantly, we have a chat room. Let me see what it is. So if you do want to get involved, what is it? Oh, there it is, Gitorim. So I just click over here. This thing will open up and you can chat with us right away. Tell us what you think. We built everything, Agile data included, in a very open way. So for instance, you can look at the issues and see what we're planning. Okay, there is some brainstorming going on. We're working on encoding practices. So when you're saving data, maybe serializing it as a JSON, that's something new coming into Agile data. And there is already work in progress for that. You can look into our long-term roadmap. Okay, pretty cool. Anyway, thanks for your time, and I'll keep you up to date. I'll post more videos soon because now it's the whole thing just works very nice. I'm very excited, and I hopefully will have more to show you in the near future.